Hello, this is Tony Brooks Aviles from, of course, the Staten Island Slim Down, Staten Island Boot Camp, and Staten Island Personal Training. Here's the wrap-up video. I have to say, number one, that I am extremely proud of you. If you're watching this video, it's because you have completed the Staten Island Slim Down program, which is fantastic. So I'm going to give you a round of applause. I mean, I'm so excited, and I'm excited not just because that you've done it, but I know that you've experienced some tremendous changes from being here. Now, I'm speaking to you not just from, I don't want to be a guru. I'm not trying to be someone's fitness guru or life guru. What I am really is a coach. I'm a trainer, a coach. Really, that's what a good trainer is a good coach. And the purpose for putting this whole thing together was really to create a process that you could follow for 10 weeks that would be a metaphor for changing your life. And that if you took control of your fitness, and if you took control of your eating, and you took control of how you manage your time, that you were really taking control of your life. And that's really what it's all about. So many people may tell you that, 10 weeks is not enough time to change your life. And I personally hate, I don't want to use that word, let me use a different word. I personally do not like I told you so's. I can't stand them when someone says, well, I told you so. It's like, you know what? It just gets at me. But this is one of those times where I am pleasantly surprised, or I have great pleasure in order to say, I told you so. I tell you something. In the beginning, at the kickoff that we had for this program, I said that someone's life is going to change in the next 10 weeks. And I said the 10 weeks are going to go by, whether you do it or not. And if you decide to do it, that things are not going to be the same for you. And you chose to do it, and I can guarantee that it is definitely the case. I've received some before and after pictures that showed that there are a bunch of people, you, I'm sure, one of them, that played all out, that you lost yourself in the process. When I say lost yourself in the process, didn't mean that you changed your identity, but that you got so much into the process that the process became who and what you are. And that's what we look for. That many times in life, you're going to need to just play all out. I think it was Vince Lombardi who said that football is a game of reckless abandon, which means that there are times in life where you just have to go for it. And we find ourselves sometimes when our backs are against the wall, when we want to back up a little bit, but there's no place else to go. You can't back up anymore when your back's up against the wall. What do you have to do? You have to go forward. You have to just go for it, which means dancing on the skinny branches. That's symbolic for going where it's not safe all the time. Rather than dancing on the branches that are close to the actual tree where it's safe, we want to go out in the skinny branches. Why? Because that's where the best fruit is, out there on the skinny branches. And it takes a lot of bravery, it takes a lot of courage to be able to do that. But isn't fulfilled living really all about accepting your courage? I used the metaphor before about facing your tiger. That's what this whole thing is all about. It reminds me of a story. A friend of mine, when I used to work in corporate America, his name was Sidney. And I know that Sidney wouldn't mind me telling this story for circumstances which I'll explain in a second. We had to go to work at a training in Massachusetts, in Mansfield, Massachusetts. And we got the opportunity to ride a plane ride back and forth because we ended up being stationed there for about a month. So we got an opportunity to stay there for 2 or 3 weeks, then come home, and then we went back up there. So I got an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Sidney, who was a great guy with a lot of ambitions. And Sidney had recovered from brain cancer. And I'll never forget this conversation that we had, which went similar to this. At that time, I was struggling because I knew that I wanted to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now. And I was struggling because it was so difficult for me to give up that steady paycheck in order to pursue what it is that I loved. And so Sidney had ambitions of his own as well. And I asked him, I said, Sidney, what is it that you wanted, that you really wanted to do? And he said, well, what do you really want to do? And I said, you know what, man, this is what I want to do. I really want to leave this job. I got this part-time training thing that I've been doing. I really, really love it. This job is getting to be such a pain. You know it, I know it. And I really want to go ahead and do something else. So my ambition is to quit my job, to start my training business, make it be training, personal development, life coaching, all of those things. That's what I really, really want to do. And he said, you know what? I just got to get myself healthy. If you could help me do that, I'd appreciate it. And then I want to go back to school, and then I want to move up in corporate America and or start a side business. So we were basically spending that time encouraging each other and saying, you know what? You got to do it, man. You got to do it. Well, it was shortly afterwards, a few months after that conversation, where I left. It was after 9/11, and I decided that I needed no bigger sign than that in order to leave, aside from a series of unbelievable events that happened in my life that really prompted me to say that it's okay, you can leave, you can do it. Shortly after I left, a few months, maybe no, it was a few weeks after I left, if I recall correctly, I got the word from a mutual colleague that Sidney had passed away. His brain cancer had resurfaced, and he had fought as long as he could, and that he was going to be transitioning into the next life. And it reminded me of so much. We had two people with ambitions, and I was just blessed enough to be able to continue having health in order for me to continue with my dreams. And Sidney was not as fortunate. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Whether you believe in reincarnation or you believe in some different type of transition, this is the only one that you have right now. And you need to be in constant pursuit of breakthrough. Because a truly progressive life is all about getting better, constant growth. And that you know that when your life has been stagnant, whether it's been held back by your finances, by your lack of education, your weight, your relationship, life does not take on the fullest dimensions that it possibly can. So you have to be in constant pursuit of breakthrough. Now let me define breakthrough. Breakthrough is an act of overcoming or penetrating an obstacle or restriction. It can also be defined as a major achievement or success that permits progress, especially in terms of life and or technology. See, so that's what this whole thing was all about. Breakthrough. That's what we were searching for you, was breakthrough. Because I understand, and now you understand this, that once you break through, like you've broken through this plateau, physically, mentally, emotionally, possibly even spiritually, that life is not the same for you. Life is not the same for you. You've grown. You've developed. It's like going further on a horizon. And once you pass that horizon, what can you see? You can see more of the journey. You couldn't see it before you got past that horizon. So now there's other things that are possible for you that weren't possible for you 10 weeks ago. You've broken through. And now, this is not the end. As I said, last coaching call, you're not sprinting towards the end, you're sprinting towards a new beginning. Because after having broken through, you can see more of the horizon. I believe it was Martin Luther King who said, when you're looking to see about climbing a stairway, I'm paraphrasing this probably pretty badly, when you are looking to see about climbing a stairway, what's most important is that you take the first step. You don't have to worry about how many stairs there are. You just have to be in process. Take the first step. And by being part of this program, that's precisely what you did. You take the first step. And what does the first step lead into? The first step leads into the second step, the third step, the fourth step, etc., etc. There's an old statement that says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with what? Begins with the first step. So you took the first step by getting involved. You took another step by continuing. And what is the further step going to be? To continue. Now, unfortunately, because the body and life itself is so adaptable, you may not be able to take the same steps going forward and continue to get the same progress that you have in 10 weeks. It's going to take more. And what I'm hoping for is that there'll be other steps that we'll be able to take together, which will be made available to you. I'm hoping that I can continue to be your coach. And again, there'll be other possibilities for you. You can always contact me through the information on the website in order to see how you can continue to be coached by me. And it's exciting for me to be in that position. Why? Because I'm not referring to you only as your coach. I've also been your teammate. I've gone through some incredible breakthroughs in this 10 weeks. When I talked about facing your tiger, that's because I had a tiger to face. When I talked about forgiveness, it's because I needed to forgive. When I talked about confidence, it's because that was something that I was working on. So if we've taken this journey together, and it has been an immense pleasure on my behalf to have been that person for you. And in concert with what I spoke about before, I'm going to ask you and implore you to pay it forward. Because the more that you share, the more that you have. Development of leadership comes from what? By creating more and more leaders. And that was one of the underlying themes of this process as well, is that we want to be able to create more leaders so that we spread the word, we pay it forward, and we make not only our communities, but the whole world community a much better place to live. So you'll be hearing more from me and more from my colleagues from the Staten Island Slim Down. And once again, we want to thank you for being part of the process. And we also receive your thanks in humility and gratitude. So in the meantime, until the next time, I'm going to end this presentation as I end all the presentations with this statement. Remember to always put your heart and soul in your goal.